Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso Children's Hospital has until today to respond to UMC's latest offer for a takeover. This as the county hospital tries to set a new tax rate.
Hundreds of inmates are sick to their stomach this morning. The county trying to figure out just what's going on at the jail annex.
And in Arizona, authorities say they have caught a suspect from the Phoenix freeway shootings, but could there be another suspect still on the loose this morning?
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
A very good morning to El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Floren. Good morning, everyone. Good Monday morning. Kind of tough to get out of bed sometimes on a Monday.
It really can be, but what makes it harder is when you have a lot of clouds.
You just want to snuggle up, right, Crystal? We're still under that first alert, too.
I felt that way Saturday. I had very little motivation to do stuff because it was so cloudy and rainy, and today's forecast is looking very similar. Outside right now, we aren't starting with the rain quite as early as we did Saturday, but you do see that we have that rain starting to build to our southwest. That is going to head to the northeast, and as it moves along, we've got a nice thick blanket of clouds. It's also going to spread across the board. This is why we are still under first alert. More rain coming our way, and temperatures still below average in the forecast. Here's a look at our weather alerts. A flash flood watch is in place, meaning there is a potential for flooding to occur over parts of the Boot Hill of New Mexico, Grant, Luna, Sierra, and even northern parts of Doña Ana County, as well as right on into Arizona. So a lot of moisture heading our direction as the result of a tropical system, a weak system that is heading up the Baja right now. So it's spreading our way, bringing us that moisture and that chance of rainy weather. We are going to track the chance of rain coming up in just a few minutes.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Crystal. And breaking news right now. El Paso Police Dispatch confirms that shots were fired a short time ago in the Lower Valley. It happened just after 5 a.m. EMS Dispatch confirming that they are on the scene near the intersection of Batel and Zaragoza. They did not say if anyone was wounded. We have information coming to us over police scanners indicating that 2 people could be in custody. We're not sure on that. We do have a crew on the scene, and we'll let you know as soon as we have new information. In the meantime, happening today, University Medical Center officials are expecting a response from El Paso Children's Hospital on that latest plan to take over the bankrupt institution. We have Good Morning El Paso's Denise Olivas live right now with more. Denise, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Hillary. Last week, if you remember, El Paso Children's Hospital filed its restructuring plan to the bankruptcy judge that is overlooking this case. It includes 2 options: find a partner other than UMC to infuse money into children's, or accept UMC's prior offer to take over. But just this past week, we also reported that UMC may no longer want to take over Children's. It looks like Children's may be a huge liability to taxpayers, in risk of owing tens of millions of dollars to the federal government. That's because Children's essentially told the federal government it paid about $27 million in rent to UMC when it really didn't. On last night's ABC7 Extra, County Commissioner David Stout said if Children's doesn't accept this final term sheet, the county will move forward with litigation, and he believes that the county will be successful.
And I think that the judge has showed some of his hand already when it comes to the way that he's thinking with some of the decisions that he's made in the past couple of weeks.
Successful, you mean, in recovering the $106 million?
Well, I don't know if we're going to recover the money because there's really not any money there. But at least we will have an answer as to what will happen with the Children's Hospital going into the future.
And also happening today, the UMC board is expected to meet to talk about the tax rates for next year, and our crew will keep an eye on how this will impact your tax rate. Stephanie, back to you.
Okay, good to know, Denise. Thank you. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office is trying to figure out what made hundreds of inmates sick at the jail annex this weekend. The annex is on the 12,000 block of Montana Avenue in Far East El Paso. The Sheriff's Office says out of the 1,300 so at the annex, about 700 reported feeling ill. Family and friends visiting the jail say they're concerned about the health and well-being of their family and loved ones, and say they're hearing about possible food poisoning from those inside.
They were giving some patties that are raw, gum-like, that when he opens it, it's green. And I hope my brother wasn't part of that, but I feel that even though they're inmates and in trouble, they have lives too, and their lives matter.
The Sheriff's Office says that all but 7 have gone back to regular food from the all-liquid diet that the jail doctors were recommending. A man is in the hospital after being stabbed in Las Cruces. It happened shortly yesterday or early yesterday morning at a trailer park on the 100 block of East Madrid. Police say a man in his 30s or 40s was stabbed in his chest. They say he was taken to UMC. He's not cooperating with police though, and a neighbor told us the area has had a lot of crime in the past year. Now police say there is no suspect at this time because they need the man to cooperate.
The investigation continues into that plane crash that happened west of Las Cruces on Saturday morning. A Navy T-34 jet trainer crashed near the Butterfield shooting range about 7 miles from Las Cruces International Airport. It's a propeller-driven airplane used to train student pilots. New Mexico State Police say the plane had landing gear problems, and rather than do a belly landing, the pilot decided to do what's called a controlled ejection. Fortunately, a student pilot and the instructor walked away with only minor injuries. Lucky. An update on an officer-involved shooting now that happened back in August. According to the autopsy report obtained by the El Paso Times, the man died after shooting himself in the chest. The El Paso County Medical Examiner's Office states 22-year-old Charles Bertram had 3 gunshot wounds, one to the right groin, the back, but he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest. This is surveillance video of that shooting. It happened in the parking lot of the Players Lounge on Dyer. When the officer approached the car, Bertram stepped out and the officer realized he was armed. And that's when the officer and Bertram opened fire. Bertram ended up dying in a nearby parking lot.
In Arizona, police say they caught a man they suspect is behind the freeway shootings in Phoenix. A SWAT team stormed a Walmart in Glendale and arrested Leslie Allen Merritt Jr. Police say he's linked to at least 4 of the 11 shootings on I-10. Phoenix officials say the break in the case came after the suspect pawned a 9mm handgun, and police say their lab results showed it was the same gun used in at least 4 of the highway shootings. His father, however, thinks police have the wrong man.
I don't know if you're aware your son has just been arrested.
Excuse me?
He's just been accused of the I-10 shootings.
Oh, they're so stupid.
Would you like to tell me about him or say anything on his behalf?
Yeah, but I'll say plenty on his behalf. Yeah. Whoever said he's the I-10 shooter is a moron. Have a good night.
Merritt is the only man, or is only linked to the first 4 shootings. Police say it's unclear if there are more suspects and the investigation is ongoing. As of September 10th, there have been no other shootings reported.
New this morning, a new Olympic-sized pool will soon be built on the west side. City Council is set to review an update to the project this Tuesday. The initial project was approved in February of 2013. In total, the construction will cost just over $13 million. The finished project will hold close to 800 spectators and almost 600 athletes. Planners say the pool will help enhance El Paso's quality of life through recreational, cultural, and educational improvements.
A huge growth in the Texas population is causing statewide water problems. Now the state is looking to El Paso for advice. A proposed water grid study, which would pump water across Texas, failed in the most recent legislative session, but it will most likely return in 2017. Ed Archuleta, the former president and CEO of El Paso Water Utilities, says the project is impractical because of costs. He adds that state and federal water planners should do more to make conservation technologies. El Paso's knowledge on transporting water dates back to the 80s, which has helped achieve the lowest per capita water usage in Texas.
And the time now is 6:08. Here's a live look at traffic. Things are beginning to pick up slowly but surely out there. This is I-10 and Reynolds looking good.
And keep it here for more to come on Good Morning El Paso.
That's right, another busy day ahead for Pope Francis in Cuba. More on what he had to say to the island nation coming up.
And bad news for fans of the Dallas Cowboys. How long will Tony Romo be out with that injury?
And we'll check in on the weather again. Lots to cover this morning with Crystal.
Yes, we're into our first alert still, Crystal.
That we are tracking quite the potential for rain later today. We're going to check in on that future accumulation model to see where the hardest hit might be coming up after your break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.